I'm Eric Novak, and coming up on this latest EnviroDad.com review, I'm going to take a look at the Philips air fryer. It's a home fryer that apparently doesn't use any oil whatsoever. All right, let's be honest with ourselves here in North America. We like fried foods. It's a part of our diet in probably too large a degree, and that has some serious concerns for health. With the saturated fat and oils that are used in frying, we have concerns with heart health, obesity, and many other health-related factors. Well, what if there was a way where you could enjoy the type of food associated with frying, yet have it in a healthier way? Say, a way that fries but doesn't use any oil? Well, apparently this is the idea behind the Philips air fryer, which is a product that I was asked to take a good look at and review here with the EnviroDad.com reviews. Now, in my situation, I have a family of 6. We have 4 children. We're an active, typical North American style family, and sure, we've enjoyed our fried foods over the years. So the idea of using a device such as this that could give the food the sensation or the type of texture associated, I should say, with frying, but without using any oil, is certainly something that interests me. So I've got it here, and I'm going to try a few different types of standard typical recipes, plus apparently a few that you can't normally do in a fryer using this Philips air fryer, and I'm going to give it my honest, objective, and true family style review. All right, so the million-dollar question: how do you fry things without using any oil? Well, that's certainly something that I was curious to learn about. And apparently with this Philips air fryer, what it is this basically is almost like a mini convection oven, if you will. If you open up the tray here, what you basically have is where you would place your food items, and there's a tray here that you lift up, and this is where you put things. But if you look in the bottom, there's almost a circular type of pattern, and that's consistent with the way air would flow in a convection style oven, which obviously gives a more thorough, quicker, more efficient type of baking if you have that type of oven. Inside this Philips air fryer is also sort of a heating unit. You can't really quite see it here, but there's heating coils. So I guess the effect is, in a small condensed unit with an intense convection style experience for baking with a heating element, the end result is you get something that basically is comparable to frying. That's the idea behind it. Now, this Philips air fryer is a updated version of the original. This one here actually has a digital readout, so you can set temperatures, set timing, and with an air fryer, apparently you can do a couple extra things that a regular fryer can't, such as bake. Philips does have some accessories as well, such as this customized baking tray, which you can apparently make things like cake, and I'm going to try that on this review to see if it actually works. I've got a few different recipe ideas to try and cover some examples of what we might expect to see in a regular type of North American household and how it fares in this fryer. So let's give it a shot. Let's see how some of these recipes turn out, and I'll show you a little bit of the preparation as to how I got it done as well, and let's see, does this really live up to its billing? Rather than buying frozen prepared chicken nuggets for this review, I decided to try and make some from scratch. I used 3 boneless, skinless breasts, as well as panko breadcrumbs, grated Parmesan cheese, garlic powder, pepper, paprika, as well as eggs and water to coat them with. After cutting up the breasts into nugget-sized pieces, I soaked them in the egg wash and then transferred them to a plate where I dredged them in the dry mix, trying to coat them all evenly. Once all of the nuggets were ready, I placed them into the air fryer tray and set the cooker to 375 degrees for 20 minutes. When done, the nuggets were golden brown and crispy, although I felt perhaps a couple of minutes less cooking time, and using regular breadcrumbs may have worked better. Using breast meat also meant the chicken was a bit dry, so while the air fryer definitely works here, I'll need to experiment a bit to get the recipe just right. grilled cheese sandwiches are a favorite at my house, so I was very eager to see if an air fryer grilled cheese is as good as what we're used to. Prepping the air fryer grilled cheese is basically the same as a skillet version, with the only exception is that we opted for aged cheddar instead of cheese slices, and I cut the cheddar into strips about a 1/4 inch thick. With the buttered sides facing out, I placed the sandwich into the basket, and to demonstrate how easy the air fryer is to program, I let my daughter set it to 350 degrees for 5 minutes and then start the cooking. Once the timer stopped, I pulled out the tray to see that the bread had turned golden and toasty, and once I plated and cut the sandwich, it showed the cheese was nicely melted. One of my sons got to try the first sample and said it tasted just like normal, while another son said it tasted even better. Since then, I've tried this several times and have even added bacon or ham with the cheese and found it to be especially tasty. I wanted to try a vegetarian dish for this review, and given my wife's love of tofu, I decided to take her advice and give it a go. After drying and cubing some firm tofu, I marinated them in a mixture of soy sauce, rice vinegar, sesame oil, and chili peppers. After marinating for about 20 minutes, I placed the cubes into a bowl filled with cornstarch and coated the cubes entirely. Once done, I placed the cubes into the tray and placed them into the air fryer, where I cooked them for 20 minutes at 375 degrees. While the tofu was in the air fryer, I prepared some jasmine rice and some steamed broccoli and plated them both. After 20 minutes, the tofu was golden and crispy on the outside, and after plating them as well, we sat down to eat. Now, as with the chicken nuggets, I think I could have reduced the cook time a bit, as the tofu was a tiny bit dry inside, but with some tinkering, this is easily a dish that could work very well with the air fryer. Perhaps the simplest food I tried to cook while reviewing the Philips air fryer were these smiley-faced frozen French fried potatoes. To prepare the fries, I filled up the basket and then set the air fryer to 350 degrees and the timer for 13 minutes. Once the timer was done, the fries came out golden and crispy. In this case, I think the air fryer method is better than a regular oven, since we found the Smiley Fries to be puffier than usual, which was widely preferred by everyone in my family. To see if this Philips air fryer could indeed bake a cake, I searched online and found a chocolate cake recipe from the almostfamousmom.com. I prepped my ingredients, which included flour, brown sugar, cocoa powder, baking soda, salt, milk, oil, an egg, vanilla, and hot water. In a large bowl, I combined all of the dry ingredients together, mixing them once everything was added. Then it was time to add the wet ingredients, starting with the egg and followed by the milk, vegetable oil, and the vanilla. I mixed everything, and soon I had what appeared like a typical cake batter, but then I added the hot water. Now this resulted in a much thinner batter than I'm used to, but apparently it's necessary given the cooking method which we're going to use. After placing the batter into the baking pan, I covered the top with foil, but also poked holes through the top to allow for ventilation. With everything ready, I set the pan into the cooking tray and the air fryer temperature to 325 degrees for 35 minutes. When the timer stopped, I took out the pan, but only to remove the foil, and then it was back into the air fryer for another 10 minutes. It was now time to wait and see if this would actually work. Okay. Let's see. It's chocolate cake. Let's see. Comes out clean. We have chocolate cake. Who knew? Okay, so we've tried 5 different recipe items with this Philips air fryer. I think I've got a pretty wide sampling of what it's capable of, and I'm ready to give you my thoughts on it. I think I should ask it from 2 perspectives. Number one is, does this air fryer do what it claims it can do? And that is basically provide food that is the same type of food you would get in a fryer without the use of oil. And I think I can pretty effectively say yes. It's really quite impressive how the convection style cooking with the burner on top gives that sensation. And really there's no oil. And some of the social media posts I'd put of every recipe, people would say, seriously, there's no oil involved in it? No, there's none. So from the perspective of can it do what it claims it can do, absolutely, I have no qualms about saying yes, it can. The second question is an appliance that's worth it? Is it something that would be a benefit or an asset to families and to kitchens? And I think that all depends upon your family, your needs, and some of the requirements you have in terms of space and cooking capacities or food volume needs and such as that. There are a couple of things that I don't like about this air fryer. Number one, I guess it is kind of small in terms of the cooking area that it has. I mean, this basket does carry a fair amount of food. And if you're someone who's in a small family, or maybe you're a bachelor or living on your own, it's probably more than enough. For my family, if I was to use this all the time as the mainstay, it would be kind of limiting. The grilled cheese example was great. I mean, it makes a wonderful grilled cheese sandwich, but it takes 5 minutes per. Obviously, I'm not going to do that all the time. I'm also a little bit concerned about the size, because if you have a lot of appliances or things on your countertop, it's going to take up space. So if you don't use it all the time, I think you're going to want to either find a place for it. Otherwise, it's going to eat up some space. The digital readout part, I think is effective, but what I don't like as much is how you can't give sort of more finite measure increments in terms of what cooking temperature you want. At 25-degree increments, I don't think it's as adjustable as you might want it to be. But having said all that, if you're someone who maybe wants to use this as something for appetizers or side dishes, if it's something you're going to use on occasion, if you're not a large family, if you're in a situation where this may be something that's an add-on and not a mainstay, absolutely, I'd recommend it. It's not inexpensive to buy, but it really does work well. And I think from our family's perspective, we're going to use it and enjoy it, but it's not going to be the mainstay. It's not replacing our stove. It's not replacing the cooktop, but it's certainly going to be a welcome addition overall. I really enjoyed having the time to review this, and I hope you enjoyed this review too. But for EnviroDad.com, I'm Eric Novak. Thanks for watching. Now, just for a small little disclaimer, I do want to let you know that while Philips did ask me to review this, and they did provide me with this air fryer, which I do get to keep if I want, I have not been paid by Philips to do this review, and all opinions expressed are solely my own and not subject to any vetting by them. There's plenty of ways for you to keep connected with me, so check out some of my social media links, suggested videos, and I'd really love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel.